Hey mama, I'm Trish, and I need to tell you something that might tick off some people in the birth world. Birth doesn't have to be terrifying. It just needs to stop being a stinking mystery. After 16 years as a labor and delivery nurse, catching over 1,000 babies and birthing 6 of my own, I got fed up watching scared, unprepared moms walk into delivery rooms. So I created the birth education I wish every mama had. Real talk from someone who's been on both sides of that delivery room door. Right now, I'm giving you everything: my 3 signature birth courses, monthly support calls, my brand new birth pod class, and 30 days free in our Mama membership. Plus, I'm shipping you my labor birth comb absolutely free. This little tool is a game changer for natural pain relief during contractions. That's over $4,300 worth of birth education, plus a physical tool delivered to your door. Your body was made for this, mama, but you need to know your options. Get the Calm Birth Bundle at labornursemama.com/calm, C-A-L-M, because confident mamas have better births. You get a 14-day money-back guarantee, lifetime access, and it's available right now inside our app. Stop letting birth be a mystery. Get educated, get empowered, get the bundle, and get your birth comb free. Good morning and welcome to the Birth Experience. Today's guest is so special to me. Her name is Dr. Kela Smith, and she is going to talk all things fertility, but when it comes to functional medicine and holistic healing. She has what is called her Hormone Puzzle. And so join me as I talk to Kela today, and we talk about 5 ways that you can take control of this infertility, fertility journey that you are on. Good morning and welcome to the Birth Experience. We have such a great episode planned, and this one is so near and dear to me, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But Dr. Kela Smith is with me, and we are going to talk all things fertility and changes you can make hormonally to get pregnant, which a lot of you guys know I got pregnant with Grayson at 42, so I'm super excited about this conversation. Welcome, Kela.
Thanks, Trish. I'm really excited to be here too. So thanks for having me.
Yes. And fun fact, Kela and I met each other. We are in a mastermind together and we just hit it off. Then we found out we live close by, although we both work from home. We don't leave our houses often. So we have not met in person, which we're going to, besides at events. But Dr. Kela is going to talk to you guys about some dietary, hormonally, I'm assuming. But I would love for you just to tell everyone what it is that you do and also why you do it.
Sure. Well, thanks, Trish. Well, I am Dr. Kela Smith, like you said, and I am a holistic fertility and hormone doctor and a nutritionist. And I created a company called the Hormone Puzzle Society out of my own personal struggle with infertility. I got married. I thought it would be very easy to get pregnant. That's what we're taught our whole lives. But I found out very quickly that was not my story. I started in conventional medicine and was told at 36 I was advanced maternal age and that IVF was my only option to get pregnant. And then in that same breath told I had unexplained infertility. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's nothing medically wrong with me. I should be able to get pregnant. I'm 36. I'm not 56. Like, what the heck?
36 is so young. What are we talking about right now?
I know, crazy. So that led me down this journey of not wanting to do IVF to start. And I dove into research. I thought, okay, what do I need to do to get as fertile as possible? And so that's what I did. I looked at my diet, my lifestyle. I had undiagnosed hypothalamic amenorrhea, which I know now, but I never was diagnosed back then. I had no cycle. And so I just went down this road and I figured out what I needed to do to get as fertile as possible. And I ended up getting pregnant not once, but twice. And now those children are 12 and 9. And when I had a newborn and a 2-year-old, I thought I have to teach this because if they're telling me this, then who else are they telling? So I went back to school. I started getting credentials and I started my practice. And this was about 9 years ago. And today I work with women and couples all over the world. I help them figure out why they're not getting pregnant. I help them solve and heal. And so they can can get pregnant and have a healthy baby and an easy birth and postpartum. So that's a little about me. I've written a bunch of books. I've got a podcast, and I'm just really excited to share my journey and my story.
This is what I love so much. There is nothing quite as powerful as a woman and a mom who has a reason to impact the world. And let's just go back. In my 20s, the joke was like, you could look at me and I would get pregnant because I had all 4 boys by the time I was 25.
Wow.
And my oldest 4. And so having that experience, and then like I was telling you, I had 3 losses before I got pregnant with Grayson, which my first loss was at 40 and I wasn't trying to get pregnant. I got pregnant and then I just had this hole in my heart. And I was like, well, that was a fluke, right? I've always gotten pregnant and had a baby. So I got pregnant again and had the loss, and then again and had the loss. And I was like, what in the flippin' am I doing here? I don't need another baby. Like, this is God telling me. But there was there was a Grayson-sized hole inside of me, you know? And so then what's funny is that I did the same thing. I went to the doctors. They wanted me to go on Clomid, and I was getting ready to take a travel assignment in California. And I just prayed and I was like, why am I doing all this, God? Like, I can't do all this. What I inadvertently did was I decided I was going to focus on, I wasn't really overweight, but I was more overweight than I'd ever been. So I really focused on losing weight, and I inadvertently upped my fertility. And so he came to visit me and went back home to Tennessee. And like 5 weeks later, I was barfing and I'm like, what is wrong with me? And one of the doctors at work, where I was working in California, did a test and I was pregnant. But what's really cool about that cycle, which is totally unrelated, but it was cool, is that was the same travel assignment I had it when I was 40. I was at that same hospital when I lost the first baby. And I was in the OR doing a C-section, and that whole team of doctors and nurses like were so loving to me and so kind to me. So they walked through the first miscarriage, and then they were there when I got pregnant with Grayson. So it was kind of a full circle moment. However, back to those of you guys who are listening, I wanted to say all that. And I love that Kela said all that, because it is you practice not getting pregnant. Like, everybody's like, don't get pregnant, take birth control, don't get pregnant. Yes. Yeah. And then suddenly you're like, want to get pregnant. All I have to do is stop being careful. And then it doesn't work. Yeah. So I know there's a lot of women who are listening that are in that same boat.
And infertility is so common. I mean, 1 in 6 women and couples around the world are struggling. 1 in 6, that's huge. That's like 1.3 billion people globally are struggling with infertility. And so I like to take it a step back in my practice and say, well, why is that? Why are we having so many fertility issues? And I have my thoughts on that, and we can get into that. I know we have a very short amount of time. So
could it be all the crap we put in our body and the process and all the electronics and all those things? Yeah.
It's all of it.
Okay. So that many women. And don't you agree that each and every one of us feel very alone in it?
Yeah.
And isolated.
Then we're pushed into Clomid, letrozole, fertility treatments, IUI, IVF, all of it. And some people, yes, we do need that. But some people, for a majority of people, you don't. I'm seeing it younger and younger people being recommended these procedures, and they just don't need them. Their body just needs support. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Well, I'm so excited. I had a guest on here. Her name was Dr. K. She's from San Francisco. I'm trying to think, but she works with women who have been diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it was really interesting listening to her, because I think she leans more into our side of town, where let's start with what are we doing and healing our body. So let's jump into your 5 tips. So tell everyone what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about 5 ways to balance your hormones fast so that you can optimize your fertility.
I love that. And for those of you guys listening, I just want to throw out here, because I know Dr. Kela so well, that she also has some options for you guys, that if you want to like fast track and you want to work with her, we're going to have that in the show notes, and we'll tell you at the end how you can do that. So if you're on your way to work and you're like, just save this and listen to this later, because she has some really concrete proof that she can help you. Okay. So way number one, I guess.
Yes, way number one. So I would not be a good nutritionist if I did not talk about nutrition first. What we put in our body and what we don't put in our body makes such a huge difference in how our hormones are made, how they respond, how they act, if they're imbalanced or not. So what does that mean? Well, it's more than just eating healthy. It's really looking at your meals and eating balanced whole food nutrition. And really, I don't subscribe to counting calories or counting macros. I created something called a magic plate. And so every plate and every cup, when you have a meal, I want you to think about this. This needs to have 3 different things in it. So the first thing is protein. This is animal or plant. We want a third of that plate to be protein. Really focus on protein. I feel like a lot of women are scared of protein. We have to have it.
You know that the diet I did was a high protein, low fat, low carb diet.
I love it. I love it. Now, this does not mean carnivore. We're not saying cut out anything. I'm just saying focus on protein.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was focused on, and I got pregnant.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So many of us. Next thing is I want you to fill your plate with the colors of the rainbow, 2, 3, 4 different varieties of vegetables. If you have something like PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, I want you to focus on cruciferous vegetables because that's going to detox the estrogen that's feeding those conditions. So this is going to be things like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, getting in those into each meal, but also getting a bunch of different varieties and different colors. If you can do 2 to 3 colors on that third of your plate, that's perfect. Third of your plate, I want a slow burning carb or a grain, sweet potato, pumpkin, squash. If you don't have a sensitivity to grains or you don't have an autoimmune condition and you can handle grains, then you can throw in a little bit of like quinoa, buckwheat grain, even a little brown rice is okay, but brown rice doesn't have a ton of nutrition other than fiber. So be careful with that and have a small portion. And then 1 to 2 tablespoons of a healthy fat. So this is going to be avocados, fatty fish, nuts and seeds, olive oil for salads, avocado oil for cooking. Make sure you get 1 to 2 tablespoons of fat per meal. If you're trying to lose weight, maybe lean more towards 1 tablespoon. If not, you can go to 2. But your hormones are made out of cholesterol, and that is fat. So this is another macronutrient that we've all been told to eat low fat. No, if you're trying to get pregnant and you need fat, you need your hormones to be balanced. So that's your magic plate. That's the first thing I would focus on is nutrition.
Okay.
Second
number 2
is detox. We have got to make sure that our body is detoxing every single day. So what does that mean? We want to make sure our detox organs are healthy and working appropriately. That's focusing on things that feed your liver and heal your liver. So this is going to be herbs like parsley and cilantro, even things like dandelion root and nettles and milk thistle, really making, even drinking lemon water every single morning. If it's not hurting your teeth, that's going to help your liver to detox. And then anything you can do to let yourself sweat, getting in a sauna, walking outside when it's hot, getting some movement in every single day. We want to be sweating every day. If you're not sweating, your body is clogged and you're reabsorbing toxins and they're circulating, causing inflammation. So we have to make sure that we're sweating and those detox pathways are open and those detox organs are working appropriately. The other thing
I'm blown away by this because my husband is the sweatiest person I've ever met, and my oldest son as well. And I always am like, I never sweat. You sweat so much. Something's wrong, but you're saying it's opposite.
No, I'm saying you want to sweat.
That's what I'm saying. I've told him there's something wrong with him for being so sweaty. And I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me because I don't sweat. But you're saying there is something wrong. I need to sweat.
Yeah, you need to sweat.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
The other
I'm not going to tell him that though.
Yeah, right. I know. So you know what I would say, side note, if you have access to an infrared sauna, that is the best way to get sweating because that opens up all those pores and it gets down deep, deep and really helps that sweat to come out. And once your body starts to do that, then you'll start to do it more and more. Yeah.
Do I really want to sweat more and more?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't just sweat. Like I'm not just sitting here sweating, but like every day I'm in my sauna getting out my toxins.
Yeah. Okay.
The other piece to detox is focusing on your kidneys, and this is hydration. We want to make sure we are drinking enough water. We're also adding electrolytes. All women, every age, you need electrolytes. Fertility, preconception, pregnancy, postpartum, everybody needs electrolytes. So, get a clean version. There's a lot of good ones on the market right now. Make sure it's low sugar. So feeding those electrolytes, getting in your water, 2/3 of your body weight per day in ounces is what I recommend. If you're like, holy crap, that's a lot, just start small. Start with about 8 ounces, go up until you get to that key amount. One way to tell if you're dehydrated is when you go to the bathroom, look at your urine. We want pale yellow. If it's darker, you're dehydrated. If it's clear, you need electrolytes. So pay attention to that every time you go to the bathroom and try to hit pale yellow. So that's the second thing, detox. The third thing is we want to look at our stress. Everybody loves when I talk about stress, but stress
because that's near impossible.
Stress is a killer of all hormones. And I like to talk about stress as there's no way we're going to eliminate it completely. But what I want you to focus on, instead of trying to eliminate stress, I want you to focus on play. I want you to play and have joy in your life every single day. Do things that make you smile, that make you laugh. It's very hard to be stressed when you're smiling and laughing and you're doing things that make you happy. Now, does that mean you go every day and that's all you do is play? No, but we want to put in small pieces of play throughout our day. And then on the stress side, I want you to take a hard inventory of your life. Is everything in your life serving you? If it's not, and it can be eliminated, then let's eliminate it. And I always joke, you probably can't get rid of your mother-in-law or quit your job, but you can put a boundary in place on how you let that affect you. So really take that hard look and say, can I eliminate something or can I put this boundary in place?
Well, and doing that now before you get pregnant and have children is a really smart move, because 100%. That is like, if you think it's hard to set boundaries now, like, you're going to be called to do it so many times during pregnancy and birth and motherhood.
Yes, for sure.
So good practice that muscle.
Yes. And two, doing things that calm your nervous system on a daily basis, this will also lower your stress. It'll put you more into a parasympathetic state, which is your rest, digest, and reproduce if you're trying to get pregnant. So we want to do things like deep breathing. That is the most powerful thing that you can do, and it's free because it actually tricks your nervous system into thinking you're calm when you're running around like a crazy person, your head's spinning around.
It's my favorite labor tool too.
Minutes, and do some breathing. And then also, you can do things like meditation, journaling, walking outside, grounding your feet into the grass or the sand, and just really get solid in that. That will help also lower your stress
EFT tapping.
Yes.
You do inside the membership.
Really good one. Yes. Yeah. So that was 3. Number 4, we really want to focus on sleep. I feel sleep is so underrated. So many of us struggle to get to sleep, to stay asleep. And so I have some tips around sleep. We want to make sure we're getting at least 6 to 8 hours per night. If you're not getting that amount of sleep, if you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, we want to look at what the root cause of that and try to treat that accordingly. But some just general tips for improving sleep quality and quantity would be getting early morning sun in your eyes. This is going to activate your pineal gland, which is the gland right between your eyes right here. You can also tap that gland to activate it and doing some EFT, but this is going to start the production of serotonin. It tells your body it's time to wake up. The same happens at night. We want to minimize our blue light exposure because this is going to tell our body it's time to sleep. It's time to relax and wind down. And that will start the production of melatonin. Some foods that help with melatonin are tryptophan and tart cherry juice. Tryptophan is actually a precursor to melatonin production. So eating, some turkey or some chicken or something that is heavy in tryptophan for dinner can really help start that production of those 2 hormones. And then I love to recommend a power down hour. This is when you go from work mode to sleep mode, and you kind of give your body time to unwind and relax. This doesn't mean watching a crazy show on Netflix that's going to jack your
or scrolling Instagram.
Scrolling Instagram. Nope. This means grab a book, grab, your journal, do some meditation, sit in your sauna, do some meditation. Do something so your body and your nervous system can say, hey, it's time to stop work and go into sleep mode.
But don't you think if they're struggling with sleep and they start with the nutrition, they're doing the detoxing and they're doing the movement and the sweating, and that's also going to help with the sleep?
100%. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
all of this works together. It doesn't work in isolation. And if you're thinking all of that's overwhelming, I'm not doing any of that, just start with one thing. Start with one
Yeah.
thing and then do something, kind of habit stack as you learn these
Yeah.
habits. And
I
then
feel like women who are struggling to get pregnant are willing to
to
do
do
all
whatever.
5. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I would have done it whether I believed
Oh,
it would
yeah.
work or not. I would be like, yes, give it to me. I'll do it. Whatever I can control in this is going to make me feel better.
Exactly. And this
Yeah.
is my hormone puzzle. And that's why I created all of these pieces because they all work
Yeah.
together and they are all important. So I was
Okay.
like jumping into all of it. So I agree.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
Yep.
where are we?
Number four. So this is if you are doing all of this and you've gotten blood work and everything is normal, but you're still not getting pregnant, then this is when you need to look further and you need to do functional lab testing. And so this is one of the things I specialize in my practice because most of the women that see me have already done all the things and they're still not pregnant and they're trying to look deeper at that root cause of what the issue is.
Yeah.
And so I recommend you work with a practitioner, a naturopath, a functional doctor, and do some functional labs. These are going to be different than just blood work. Blood work is just a snapshot in time. These labs are going to look at not just what your hormone levels are, but how you're methylating, which means neutralizing, how you're detoxing, how everything is working together. It also looks at your stress hormones, your sleep hormones. And so it's just a really deeper look into that piece of the equation. So I recommend the dried urine test for hormones. I also like to look at the microbiome and look in the gut. So many of us are struggling with gut health, and that's a missing piece that your fertility clinic is never going to touch. And there's so many studies now that show it's a direct link and it impacts fertility so much. So that's another piece I like to look at. I also like to do mineral testing. I'll look at this through hair because 90% of us are mineral imbalanced and we don't even realize it. This is a big one if you had a baby recently, especially if you're breastfeeding and you're struggling with secondary infertility. We want to look at your minerals to make sure that you're not, your minerals are not out of balance. And minerals are so important because they give us energy. There are spark plugs. They control our mitochondrial, our energy. And what is energy heavy? Conception, egg health, sperm health, all of it. So we need our minerals. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last thing I'll look at is detox. I'll look at, do you have heavy metal toxins? Do you have mycotoxins? Do you have environmental toxins? What is your toxic burden? So many people will come to me as well and say, I live a non-tox life. I don't have any toxins. And I run a test and they light up like a Christmas tree. All of their body has just got so many toxins in it. And if your endocrine system is clogged with toxins, then it's going to block your hormone balance and you're going to struggle with infertility. So we need to address that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's the testing. We could do a whole show on testing, but I think for time, we're going to stop there. But those are probably my 4 favorite ones that I like to run.
Okay.
And then number 5 is get support. If you're trying to do this on your own and you're still struggling, you need an outside perspective. You need a professional to come in and really evaluate your specific case to tell you what you need to do next. And on the other side of that, if you're working with a professional and you've been working with them for, 6 months to a year and you're still not seeing results, you need somebody else. That person is obviously not finding what we need to find and not treating you to solve this issue. And so that's when I would say, find a new provider. Let's look a little deeper. Let's look functionally and through a naturopath lens and let's let you heal so that you can get pregnant and have a healthy baby.
Yeah. And I love all of that because again, when you're going through that, you feel so out of control. And the providers make you feel like, well, like it's a crapshoot. Like you don't know and they don't know. And they're just making like these guesses.
And they have a protocol. Every fertility clinic, every conventional medicine, they have a protocol. It's written by the medical board. You know this, and they don't stray from that. And so I always tell, I'll talk to people, and they'll say, "Well, my clinic says to do this. We've done 5 rounds of IUI and 2 rounds of IVF, and they've all failed, and we're just going to keep doing it." And I'm like, "No, there's a reason it's failing. Let me help you." So they have their protocol, and they can't stray from that. Whereas functional medicine, naturopathic medicine, we're looking at you as a person and how your systems are working. And we want to work with you to heal, not put you through a protocol that's standard.
Yeah. And I remember when I was going through this and I did so much research on my own, and I ended up asking my fertility doctor to do labs that he wasn't even thinking of. And I
Mhm.
remember going in and they did like 60 vials. I swear it was like
Oh
a
my
counter full of
God.
vials. And that was how I found out a bunch of information, but I had them do, because I was in a group that was like, do this and do that. Like,
Mhm.
and this was before there were people like us educating online, like, because he's
Yeah.
11 or almost 11.
Uh-huh.
So, but I remember my doctor being like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, so
when I started, I mean, my older boy's 12, and so go 2 years before that, so 14 years ago, there wasn't these Instagrams
same.
or podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. I was at the library, like, what do I need to
Yeah.
do?"
Me too. I was online in like what they were like chat
Going into
rooms
these
or whatever we used to have. Yeah.
going into these
And
chat rooms and these I remember there
yeah.
was one from like, oh gosh, it was like, Are We Expecting Magazine or something? And they had like a chat board and I would just read and
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, mine was something like that, a chat room or a chat board, and that's where I saw to do all these labs. And
Uh-huh.
funny enough, I found out I had already had, 5 pregnancies,
Uh,
and I found out that I had factor 5 lead-in. I found out I had the MF or MTHFR, and
mm.
I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, so then that was all in my head. But anyway, I am so happy that you came, and I love that you shared all this. So now let's share where everyone can find you and how they can work with you.
Sure. Well, thank you again, Trish. This has been so fun and I love talking to your audience. But they can find me on my website at hormonepuzzlesociety.com. And on that page, you can grab many of our free resources. We have a fertility meal plan that you can grab for free. And you can also book a call with me right on the home screen. So just click that button, book a call. We'll get on the call live and I'll hear your story and I'll let you know my professional recommendations on, what you need to do to move forward and what it would look like to work with me if you feel like that's your next best decision. So
Yeah, I
join me
love that.
there. Yeah. My favorite place to hang out on social media is on Instagram. I'm at Kela_health coach and I'm on TikTok at Dr. Kela Smith. I also have 2 announcements. My Solving Infertility Summit airs our 5th annual at the end of January. So check that out. You can go to solving-infertility.com to learn more and to register. And my 6th book comes out in the spring. We're not announcing the title, but it's going to be all about what we talked about here and more. So if you're on our mailing list, you'll get notified when that goes live.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. And I am just there with you. I've been there and I know that it's heavy, but I'm so happy that you guys have the resources like Dr. Kela and things that you can control when it comes to your fertility. So as always, hit subscribe, leave a review, tell us what you want to hear more of, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.